Let me walk you through to a beautiful incident that happened in Mark chapter 5, verses 21 to 40, where two people meet Jesus because they were desperate for a miracle. So now Jesus is walking into a town, and there's a large crowd that's always with Jesus who come to watch him. Some come to receive a miracle from him, because some come to get a word from him. And in the midst of all that, there is suddenly a man who comes and falls at the feet of Jesus. His name is Jairus, and he's a synagogue leader. He's a leader, But he falls at the feet of Jesus desperately because he needs something. And he asks Jesus, my 12-year-old daughter is on the verge of death. He says, if you come and lay your hands on her head, she will be healed. So Jesus looks at this man. He is a synagogue leader, and Jesus feels compassionate towards this guy, and he tells him, I will come to your place. And now the situation is very serious, and Jesus is walking to the house of Jairus, and the whole crowd is following Jesus. And they're going, and Jairus is kind of happy that I called Jesus and he's coming. My daughter will be fine. She'll be healed. So he's moving with Jesus with the hope that his daughter will be well. Suddenly the whole thing stops. And Jesus is asking, who touched me? So Peter is saying, Lord, everybody is touching you. Everybody is nudging you. It's a large crowd that is following you. What are you saying? Who touched you? Are you joking? But Jesus says, this touch is different. He says, I can see power leaving from me. So they search all over the place, and they asked him, and they've been trying to find out who touched him. In the midst of all that, there's one man who's standing there and is thinking about his daughter. He says, my daughter, I called Jesus and he came with me. Now there's a delay that's happening, and he's looking at what's happening there, but his thought is about his daughter. He's standing there with mixed feelings. He's standing there thinking about his daughter, and suddenly there's a lady who just comes out of that crowd, and she says, I was the one who touched you, Lord. And she narrates her story. And maybe Jesus knows the story, but she tells the story. Jesus lets her tell the story because he wants everybody to know what happened to her life. And she tells the story, and you know what? That lady is 12 years, she's been suffering with an issue, with a sickness, and she spent all her money, and she was told in her place, in her town, they told her not to come out of the house. So she was in a house, like a house arrest, and she heard about Jesus. She said, Jesus is coming to this town. And she was so desperate. She didn't bother about anybody. People would definitely shut her down. They would abuse her. They would have told her, they would have shouted at her. A lot of things would have happened against her. But she came, she was so desperate in the midst of that crowd, because they were all going to Jairus' house to see the daughter with Jesus. In the midst of that, she touched Jesus and she was healed. And Jairus is looking there, and what he told Jesus was, Lord, when you come to my house and you touch my daughter, she will be healed. Now she's healed. Jesus didn't touch the lady. The lady touched the hem of his garment and she was healed. What a beautiful thing. Here people are trying to get a miracle, trying to figure out who this man is, what's happening. And in the midst of that, he sees there's something that's happening. I called Jesus and he came, and he sees a miracle there, and there is hope in Jairus. Although he was thinking it's getting delayed, a lot of things, I came first, these ladies, all this delay and all that. But he sees the miracle. When he sees the miracle, there is hope, and he's standing there with hope. Definitely Jesus will heal my daughter. When he's standing there with hope, that's when a messenger comes from his place and says, Jairus, your daughter is dead. Imagine, you're standing there, wondering, will my daughter be healed? And he sees a miracle, and there is hope in him. Definitely my daughter will heal. That's when the message comes, your daughter is dead. And Jairus is standing. That is, Jesus is always on time, and he always speaks to you in your situation. Jairus listened to the word came to Jesus that your daughter is dead, and that's when immediately Jesus says, Jairus, do not be afraid, just believe. Jairus, do not be afraid, just believe. Jairus, do not be afraid, be still. Now Jairus standing there, what happened? The news from the messenger is true. His daughter is dead, no more. But Jesus is saying, do not be afraid, just believe. He called Jesus when the daughter was sick. Now she's dead, the situation is dead. But the word has come from the Lord. Jairus can do two things, but he decided to just stand in faith. Sometimes we walk in faith. He came to Jesus because he had faith in Jesus. Now the situation is gone. Now his faith is being tested. Now we need to trust God for that miracle. But Jairus trusted God. He believed in the word. He sent the messenger off, and he's waiting, and he's taking Jesus to his house. When they go to his house, there's the people mourning, and there's everybody speaking negative things. There are some of them saying, it's already late. Why did you bring this man? He should have come earlier and all this stuff. What is this guy going to do? She's dead. But Jesus tells Jairus to send them all out of the house. Even there, Jairus did what Jesus. Sometimes we need to listen to the Lord, listen to whatever, anything that He says, to see that miracle, to see that supernatural miracle happen in our life. Another thing I want to say is, sometimes we look at people and say, I've seen miracle happen to so many people, to people that I have encouraged, I have prayed, I know this person, he's getting a miracle, he's getting a miracle, but I don't see anything happen in my life. Don't worry about it. And you're saying my situation is done and gone, time is gone. Even your situation is dead, He is more than faithful to revive it, because the word is so powerful. In the house of Jairus, when everybody left, Jesus revived the situation. He resurrected that girl back to life. Maybe you're listening to me. You've been walking with the Lord. You've been waiting for something with faith. But the situation has gone worse. You're standing with hope. You're looking at people receiving miracles. You're listening to testimonies, and you're speaking to yourself, yes, even I'll receive it one day. Even I'll see my situation change one day. But your situation is going from, bad to worse. I'm telling you, even if the situation is dead, He will revive it. You need to hold on to the word. He says, do not be afraid. Don't worry about the situation. Don't look at the circumstance. Let not people's word, give you that fear. Do not fear. Stand. Believe in the Lord. Believe His word. Trust Him, and you will see miracles unfold in your life. That situation you've been waiting for, you will see it happen in your life. God bless you.
Sorry, I can't.